Hey guys, it's me, Grimdoc, and I'm here to bring you guys some crazy stories again from the ancient days of the Forgotten Realms. So last video, we left off on a crazy cataclysmic event. The Batrachi would end up creating this due to unleashing some of those primordials that were sealed away long ago during the Dawn War. So as you guys know, this is where we left off at the end of the last episode. And from here, we gotta talk a little bit more about the dragon god Asgarath. Now, I understand he's kinda taken over these videos in terms of ancient lore, but just hang in there with me, dudes, because it's gonna get crazy from here. Now, Asgarath is a super convoluted type of god in the Forgotten Realms, due to his being not exactly set in stone, as many stories would have him as his origins being very different. Some of them have him as a primordial, some of them have him as a divine god, and other stories of him have him as a remnant of the world serpent, and the list goes on. Regardless, Asgarath was not happy seeing those Batrachi releasing those sealed primordials. He and the other gods had worked so hard to seal those away. So, because of this, Asgarath did something absolutely insane here, and we'll talk about that in a second. Now, with the primordials being unleashed, many of the gods returned to begin another big war against them and ended up bringing absolute ruin to the ancient civilizations of the Batrachi empires. So because of all this chaos, we have to talk about the Tearfall. Now the elves called this the Ileleste, or the falling rain in Elven, but what it actually was the first sundering. So, with the Batrachi summoning primordials, the gods were pretty upset. This event was called the Sundering, and started with a devastating meteor shower that rained on Aber-Toril in -31,000 DR. According to the Red Dragon's creation myth in the Book of the World, there was an entity called Zotha that Asgarath cast down after creating the world, and then afterwards, dragonkind was created. Zotha being the huge manta ray-like being with a long tail, and one of the creator deities, but we'll cover this in a later video. Anyways, this not only created a series of natural disasters and catastrophes across the whole of the continent of Ouroboros, it destroyed entire continents in its wake. Fires, windstorms, rearranging the very oceans of the planet. Absolutely crazy stuff, dudes. Ancient Saruk survivors recorded this and called it the changing of the stars. Okay, so basically what happened was the dragon god Asgarath decided to fly up to the ice moon and flung it at the planet. Not only was this devastating to all of Ouroboros and the whole world, it basically threatened to destroy the planet entirely. And it probably would have if Ao himself didn't come out of hiding and intervene at this time. But yeah, during that meteor shower, apparently Asgarath also flung dragon eggs upon the continent as well, but we'll cover that event in a later episode. So yeah, loads of crazy stuff started happening here. Nothing exactly set in stone, but what we do know was this caused just absolute chaos across the entirety of the planet altogether. Absolute turmoil and chaos. So, with all of these events happening, Ao, remember the big guy in episode 1? Yeah, he was pretty ticked off. He came down from the heavens and split everything into two. And the world would be changed permanently forever from here on, guys. This was a massive event. Aber-Toril was no longer a single world, and instead it was split into two separate worlds. Now the first world would be called Aber, and the second world Toril, and from here on they would be separated. The primordials would end up getting Aber as their new homeworld, and Toril would end up becoming the main world of everything we know today in the Forgotten Realms. Hey guys, Grimdoc here. Odds are if you're playing a Dungeons & Dragons campaign, there's a very high chance that you're situated in the world of Toril. However, the ability to go between Aber and Toril isn't exactly common at all. But it is possible. So keep that in mind with whatever Dungeons & Dragons campaign you're playing. Alright, back to the video. Okay, so the planet was sundered into two, and basically situated itself in the same realm, but more so within a pocket dimension. This is probably why summoning rituals are far more prominent and effective in this universe. But anyways, we now officially have two separate worlds here, and from here on, things would begin to calm down a bit after the chaos subsided. Now, with the Batrachi empires falling into ruin, the Aerie ended up rising to power for a bit. these were the avian or the bird-like beings of the ancient races, and they basically ended up prospering for quite a while here. These guys would be located on a massive island in the Silver Sea around 500 years before the Tearfall began, and they didn't really become super prominent until around the same time as the Tearfall. What's really cool about these guys, though, is they had floating islands that they lived on too. Now, remember in episode 5 how we covered the Bat-Itith? The Saruk that basically set the fundamentals for magic users in Dungeons & Dragons? Yeah, the Batrachi took over, and after they fell, the Airi took over from there, and they'd be the last ones to keep that secret society in operation before the knowledge that had been passed down for thousands of years would end up being recorded into the Nether Scrolls. Now dudes, it's getting kind of funky with how these stories are kind of meshing together, so in future episodes, we might be time traveling a bit to fill in some of the gaps. I honestly hope some of you dudes are okay with it while we follow the timeline. We're almost at year 0. Woo! I'll hopefully have more info very, very soon to share with you all. Anyways dudes, this is Grimdoc the Lore Master, signing out.